Taliban erases women's visibility? Literally. So, the Taliban's war on women has reached a new level of erasure, quite literally, by banning windows that overlook areas usually used by women, including courtyards and kitchens. In a decree issued by Taliban spokesman Zabihullah Mujahid, authorities justified the move by claiming that seeing women working in kitchens and courtyards or collecting water from wells can lead to obscene acts. Municipal officials have been ordered to monitor construction sites to enforce the directives, and existing windows might have to be blocked up to avoid nuisances caused by neighbors. This is just the latest in the Taliban's tightening grip on Afghan women, who have already been barred from education, employment, parks, and even singing. The UN has condemned these escalating restrictions as a gender apartheid, yet the Taliban insists that its rules guarantees women's rights, just not their right to be seen, heard, or exist in public life. So, in terms of Taliban rulings, this one actually makes sense to me from an Islamic perspective. There are some Taliban rulings where I'm like, look, I don't even think Islam is this intense. Relatively speaking, this is like a little bit more logical to me. Again, within the internal logic of Islam, obviously, I don't think this is like a smart or justified thing to do at all. Um, but I guess this is kind of like you would almost say like to prevent a peeping Tom type of a situation. I guess you could say. I mean, what do you think, Armin?
What do you mean? Like, is this according to Islam?
Well, I
I
mean,
mean,
okay, so
it,
the okay, here's the way I'm thinking about it. Okay, so basically the now nearly the only place an Afghan woman can exist is within the home right now.
that's Islamic.
And so within the home, if she is most likely to only be around her family members and males that are halal to her. Probably. Maybe not all the time. I would assume most
Mhm.
frequently you would be around your immediate family and males that are halal to you. In that instance, it is possible that you are allowed to not be wearing hijab, for instance.
Mhm.
Technically, you're allowed that. So if you're walking around your kitchen or your courtyard or whatever, I think the logic might be okay, you might be in not as covered as they mandate
Right, right,
because it could because you are presumably
right. Yeah.
around only people with which that is allowed. So the idea being, okay, well then in that setting, one of your neighbors could see you through a window and we can't have that. So freaking close over the windows. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they're trying to close a loophole. So you're supposed to be covered head to toe, so men can't see you. But you're in your own private dwellings. You're allowed to be less covered. But what if people can see you from outside in the places that we allowed you to be less covered? So that's a loophole. So we need to literally close that, block that loophole.
yeah.
This is going to add a new definition of being up to code in Afghanistan. So like
Dude.
when your buildings, like, yeah, the part of the all. I'm glad they have enough resources. They must be doing very good financially to be spending so much time and effort, dedicating manpower to going out and restructuring the entire all the buildings in Afghanistan to making sure that neighbors cannot look into the courtyard.
I mean, it sucks though. Think about like, okay, I am so confined and imprisoned in my own home already, and now we're gonna start bricking up the remaining windows of sunlight that I have left.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, you're right,
Crazy.
because I vitamin D deficiency is going to go, is going to, because I'm not getting any, as a woman, I'm not getting any sunlight when I go out because I'm covered head to toe. But now I can't even get some sunlight in my own courtyard because that should be blocked as well. So yeah, damn it.
This
Yeah.
is so bad for your health, like, genuinely. It's if you're pregnant,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Literally blocking sunshine. So yeah, from woman.
Yeah, I really don't know what to say. Oh, okay. Along these lines, Gajan has a super chat, and he's asking for your ruling, Armin.
Okay.
So, Mufti Armin, can you tell men to cover themselves and wear voice filters? They are distracting me and causing me to think haram thoughts. So he's asking for men to also have a form of hijab.
No, because you being gay is considered. Wait, I cannot say this on YouTube because YouTube might think that's my opinion, not the Islamic opinion. Okay, but you are a minority,
That's a
and
personal
Islam
problem.
is very. Yes, so Islam is actually very rational when it comes to, again, I'm joking here, when it comes to trying to make life doesn't try to make life too difficult for most people, right? So we cannot ask society to change everything based on uh, the temptations of gay people who are a minority of society, right? We cannot enforce laws. So given that most men are attracted to sexually attracted, very attracted to women, um, and that we need to ask to women to cover up completely. But men being attracted to men, given that you're the minority, that's a problem that you have to try to resolve individually rather than making it society's problem because you are the minority. So Islam doesn't try to make life difficult for all men just because a few men are attracted to other men's voices. That is unreasonable to ask from a society. So see how do you not believe? You see how rational Islam is? You see how God is careful about not making life too difficult for people?
Mm,
Life should only be difficult for women because men are hornier on average than women and gay men. Okay, most men. Oh, I mean not horny or hornier towards women. Yeah, never mind. So Islam is a religion that is trying to make life only as difficult as it needs to be to create stability in society, but not any more difficult because God loves his creation and he wants to make sure that it um, allows people to live life without too much difficulty. This just shows how much God loves his creation, and you should appreciate his love. Wow, this is actually I sound very Islamic.
yeah. So long story
Yeah.
short, Gasian, sounds like a you problem, bro.
Yeah, it sounds like a you problem. Yeah. No, it's not actually. No, no. Actually, you should be. No. So wait. So he's saying that's unfair. That is not unfair, Gasian, because this is a blessing to you Islamically. God makes life more difficult for people he loved the most because if he makes life easy for people who are following the dunya, this world rather than God, so that they drown in their desire, right? But he has made you gay so that you have to do extra work to show that you have faith in him, right? So me as a straight man, I am able to satisfy my desires within an Islamic marriage, but God made your life more difficult and gave you temptations that cannot be satisfied in a natural way so you go through more hardship, so you are tested more than me. And you being tested more than me means that God has given you more opportunities than me to get closer to him. So this is actually a privilege that you have to suffer this difficulty. That's actually, guys, by the way, that's actually Islamically, I'm not making this up. That's the Islamic explanation of what's happening here.
Well, thank you for your ruling, Mufti Armin.
Yeah.
And we're asking for another ruling here. Keishan is asking, would
Yeah.
it be permissible for women to operate drones in VR headsets?
Um, only in situations that you're short on manpower. Okay, women should that 99% of women should be focusing on serving their husbands and their children. 1% of women can have a career if there are certain careers that requires women to do things that men are not allowed to do. Okay, but in unless you're in an extreme situation where men have died and there are no men that could do something, there's no alternative, and you're so short on manpower that you could now recruit women to do the same work. But in normal situation where there are enough men to do work, then the women should be focusing on serving their husbands and their children.
Which is tough because that used to previously mean that women in Afghanistan were allowed to be doctors and midwives for women because
Yeah,
that was necessary. And now that's not
yeah,
allowed.
yeah. That's weird. By the way, Arthur is saying, "Why are you Why are you unhomophobic?" I was not. Everything I said was not my position. I hope you guys understand that. I was
He
just
was being a
giving you
mufti.
Islam's position. Yeah, I'm being They ask Mufti Armin. I was being a Mufti. That's not my views. Okay, maybe people are new on this
Maybe
channel.
we
They
need
may
to get
think
you
that
an
this is
actual mufti hat that you literally physically put on.
yes. I should have a Mufti hat that I just put on my head every time I have a ruling. Yeah.
Excuse me. Let me make this very clear. And by the way, if you guys are watching this on Twitter right now, you need to come over because we got a lot of people watching
Yes.
on Twitter right now. Come over to YouTube. It's so much better.
Mhm.
Um, so
Wait,
shall
let
we
me.
go to
Hold. Do you want to read this one?
oh, this person is saying this means women can't even signal to each other when they are locked up in their homes. The men fear them communicating and perhaps organizing. I didn't think
That's a
about
good
that
point.
angle.
Hmm.
This other person,
This
the
one is
left will
saying,
be on later calling the windows a danger to women and not the Taliban. Oh, like
yeah,
parodying them? Eh, not really.
yeah. Hmm.
Oh, so Gajan is
Okay.
clarifying. So not doing the drones for work. He's saying I meant operating drones recreationally because they can't be outside. Also, are Waymows with better opacity okay? What is a Waymow? Oh,
Operating.
it's like a Waymow is like a think of a big sun hat that has like some silk coming over it.
Hmm.
I think this
Yeah.
is too clear with better opacity. I don't know.
So I think that might be allowed for them to use the drones recreationally, but again, if the Taliban sees fit that maybe this will just be a gateway career move, that they might get too good at operating drones, and then it could be used as an argument for like, well, now let's give them jobs operating drones. If that's a Even if they're using it recreationally, if the Taliban sees that there's a danger that eventually this could turn into a job, then I think they would be in the right position to ban it. Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do. And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.